Hey guys, today I want to show you how to brighten teeth using Lightroom. So on the screen now I've got a set of kind of pretty gnarly looking teeth. He hasn't been to the dentist for a while by the looks of it. So there's a few ways that we can fix those up and just make them a bit brighter and nicer looking. This is an image that I downloaded from Shutterstock because I just thought it'd be nicer not to, yeah. So this man is a dentist and I can't show you his face. So basically, what I want to do is actually just select the area that I want to adjust without affecting the rest of the image. So the best way to do that is to we go into the develop module and select the adjustment brush, which is located right here, and you can either click on that or the shortcut, and it's probably a good idea to learn the shortcuts. It takes a while, but it's really worth it because it really speeds up your workflow. The shortcut is just by pressing K on the keypad, and so basically what I want to do is just mask the area that I want to clean up first. So down here in the brush selection area, you've got a box to check auto mask. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. And basically what I'm going to do is, because I've got fairly hard edges here, I'm going to reduce my feather so that it's not huge, but still got a fairly soft brush. I'm going to have my flow all the way up to 100 because I sort of want to see what I'm doing fairly quickly, and I might just cap my density to around 50. So density controls how thick you're brushing on the adjustment, so and it caps it at that. So if I keep it at 50, if I tend to go overboard with my retouching, this is just going to it's sort of like it keeps you in check basically. So I'll just go ahead and I'm going to just create a mask over the area that I want to brush on, and I'm just going to reduce the size of the brush. I'm using a mouse, and I'm just scrolling. You can increase or decrease the brush size just by scrolling, which just makes it easier and it's a little bit more accurate than using the sliders. And the other way to do it is you've got the bracket keys on the keyboard, and you can up and down just using the bracket key, but so either way works. It's basically whatever's comfortable. So I get a sort of a medium-sized brush that's going to fit in all the area. I've got my auto mask checked. I'm going to turn on the color now so that you'll see that I'm brushing on red, and it kind of will look like that stuff that they make you put in your mouth where they're checking for plaque at the dentist. So right now I'm feeling like a dentist, and I probably should be asking my patient lots of questions while his mouth's full of tools here. So I'm basically just going around and I'm carefully going to brush in the areas that I want to adjust here. So if you have a look at these teeth, I think years of red wine, coffee, probably the old cigarette here and there has made his teeth go a bit yellow, and sort of aging makes them go a bit grey, but there's like not just one straight tone in there, so we're going to address all of those. So I'm basically just masking in the area that I want to clean up, and like you can see, a couple of those I haven't been as accurate as I would like to be, so I've brushed on the brush. So if you want to just delete any of the mask areas that don't work for you, basically what you can do is, so I'm just going to come in as well and just go in, and it's just it's the kind of thing that involves a bit of patience, and like if you do a good job in your masking, it just makes everything look a lot better. And sometimes like going in too close like this can be a problem. So we'll just zoom out a bit there. Alright, so once I'm happy with where I've got that, I might just now go back in and let me just adjust that mask there. Just go back in now and erase the areas where I've gone over the lines. So basically, if you can either again just click on the erase for the brush tool, or Option or Alt will do the same thing, and holding it down at the same time. So basically what I'm doing is just rubbing out those areas there that I don't need anymore. And just cleaning up around my mask until, you know, just the areas, because otherwise you don't really want it to spill into the areas where there's gums and things like that. So I'm just going to just go ahead and clean up those little areas in there. And just improve the mask as I go along. So just cleaning up. I should be doing the sound effects for dental cleaning tools as I go, but I actually hate the sound of dentist tools. I hate the dentist, full stop. But my dentist has got a TV above the chair, which is really nice, so you can watch good movies, and that helps the experience. So, and just a little bit in there that I just want to get rid of here where I've slipped as well. Alright, and maybe just go ahead in there as well. So once I'm happy that I've covered all of the areas, I want to show you a couple of them. So I'm just going to turn the mask off so you can see the actions. So if you have a look here, there's a little box here, custom, and if you click on that, you'll find that there's already a whole lot of preloaded, presets from Lightroom, and Lightroom's got a preloaded one that's called teeth whitening. So if I go ahead and click on that, you can see that that's the preset that Lightroom's created for you. And basically, if you have a look at the settings here, what they've done is they've basically just increased the exposure and reduced the saturation. And it kind of does an okay job at cleaning up the teeth. So you can see there the before and after. So we've reduced some of the yellow and just reduced the tone overall and sort of brightened the teeth up a bit. But I think, in my opinion, it actually looks a little bit too grey. So I've actually created my own presets. So if you don't feel like making one up every time you have to retouch someone's teeth, you can have a go at the ones I've created. So I have basically the ones that I've got is, the first one is Pearly White Dentist Clean. So that's that there. So I'll just show you the before and after, so you can see that again, I've actually, I think it's a little bit more natural and sort of not as grey looking. The other one that we can have a look at is just a little bit more natural again, and so that's that one. So that's Pearly White Natural. And because the problem with teeth is if you brighten them too much, they end up looking artificial, sort of like someone's gone over and put liquid paper on them. And so you still want to keep all the tones. You just don't want to go ahead and brighten them overall. And the final one I made was Pearly White's Boy Band, which was inspired by George Michael, because I loved him in the 80s. And so that's another level of brightness again. And I just want to turn those effects off again, and I'm just going to reset my brush panel so they're all set back to 0. And I just want to show you what all the different presets, all the different sliders here do. So I just want to show, so I already have my mask brushed in. This is not going to work unless you've selected an area. So brushing in the mask actually is telling Lightroom this is the area that I want to adjust. So I've already done that, and so basically that's the area that I'm going to adjust. So I think most people, when they're just new to Lightroom, will do, the first thing they'll do with teeth is like, well, naturally they just want to be whiter, so they'll increase the exposure. But what that does is it not only it increases everything at the same level, so your whites are really white, and where the teeth weren't as white, they're going to be sort of like start to look, the color looks funny and it looks wrong. So sort of just going over and doing that doesn't give you a really natural look. The other way is just reducing the saturation actually makes the teeth look kind of grey, and I think I preferred to see some of the yellow. So that in itself, like just playing with those two sliders, reducing saturation and increasing exposure, could be a good quick fix. That is not too bad. So if you want to stick to that, then that kind of works as well. The other thing I play around with is if there's any tones in the teeth that I want to reduce. So in this case, I can see that the teeth look really yellow. The opposite of yellow is blue. So just by reducing my blue slider, I can get rid of some of the yellow, and you start to get a more natural look to the teeth. If you go too far, they sort of start to look like what your teeth look like when you go to a nightclub under the blue lights. So it's again, it starts to look artificial. So the trick with this is to try and create something that still looks natural. And again, every set of teeth is going to have different colorings, different tones, so there isn't sort of a blanket fix, but you can get in the general vicinity and then just tweak around. So as you can see, I'm just adjusting, reducing the saturation and increasing the exposure a bit, and then I continue to check and do my before and afters. I think that looks a little bit, it's too much, a little bit fake. So the other great thing you can do is if you've done one adjustment where you've worked on several different sliders in one go, what you can do when you've finished is there's a little, like, it's really hidden, but there's another little tiny arrow up the top in the same line as the effect and custom, that little black arrow. If you just check on that, what it does is it collapses all the adjustments that you've just done and turns them into one adjustment, and then you can reduce the overall effect of what you've done in one go. So if I think that's not enough, so I can increase it. So basically, I've reduced saturation, increased exposure, and reduced the yellow tones in the image. And now I've collapsed the slider, and I can work at increasing or reducing them all in one go. So I could go to the extreme, and you're getting something more boy band. See, that looks like what teeth used to look like when everyone just started retouching teeth in the 80s. So that's kind of got that George Michael feel about it, and it's kind of a bit fake. And so I just sort of slide along till it's still looking natural, but it's not too over the top. So kind of somewhere about then. And then you just got to remember the rule that I use when I'm retouching anything is to walk away and come back, because your eyes actually do get used to what you're doing, and everything starts to look normal, and you're not noticing the subtle differences and the subtle shifts in your retouching work. So I'm kind of happy with that, and I think that looks pretty good. So there you go. There's a few really simple and quick ways to retouch teeth.